Yeah, Pancho Enrique's waiting for speed still.
But you already got some.
That wasn't good enough. I didn't like that speed. That was stupid speed.
How was it stupid?
It was like inhaler speed. No, I don't have any whippets right now.
What's that?
Whippets are nitrous oxide. They help you grow big and strong. The only thing I have at the moment is fanciness and weed. I think I'll smoke the weed instead of the antsiness. Sorry, Ken, go ahead.
I think fairly well.
Yeah. You guys solved intuition?
Well, we haven't quite solved it, but we've propelled the field of study ahead probably at least 2 decades.
I don't doubt it. I'm feeling like halfway between yeah and chill and halfway between yeah and nah.
I'd like to redefine that as just from what I'm seeing from you, just the general aura that you're giving off. I would say you're somewhere between chintzy and footloose.
That's fair. That's reasonable. That's fair. Nobody's gonna complain about that.
Chintzy's are like, I don't, but then footloose is like, I just can't hold it in anymore. But because of the pull that both of them have on each other, the footloose can have more of a aggressive side to it.
A lot more whisper yelling in Footloose than there is in Chintzy.
Indeed.
It's too bad looking at the mailbox doesn't cause the mail to come. I'm gonna take another nap now.
See now, Audra, that that actually works with what we were talking about.
What?
The metaphysical mind interacting with physical existence. He's so used to thinking about things conceptually, he thinks if I go look at the mailbox in physical reality, then the mail should be there. Because he's used to conceptually looking in the conceptual mailbox, and very often finds mail in the conceptual mailbox. Because usually there's mail to find.
I feel like there's always mail in the metaphysical mailbox. Except when the metaphysical mailbox turns into not a mailbox.
It's just a box of vanilla wafers. That happens too.
Yeah.
But it's a vanilla wafer box.
It's like a
It's
mailbox.
totally
It's
sealed
like
up.
eating vanilla wafers. It came out of it.
Okay, so here's my next analogy. It's a mailbox eating vanilla wafers while the box the vanilla wafers used to be in is watching from a distance. Like it's got some sort of weird kink, except the bag that's in it that used to be full of vanilla wafers is just full of sand now.
I like where your head's at.
That's great, because I don't know where it's at. Sometimes my mom will say to me, I think you've lost it. And I'm like, I had it? Question mark? I never had it.
I'm like, where was it? Can you show me the thing that I lost? Can you describe it to me?
And
This thing that's gone missing. Can you describe it to me, please?
is it normalcy? Because it's a thin veneer that I keep up, and that's probably caused the majority of my existential despair. Not existing, but feeling like I'm not existing correctly, and that I need to change.
How are you not existing correctly?
I feel like I should do something. It's my 1-year publishing anniversary.
Smoke a cigar.
Well, I mean,
Should be more special.
that's a good thing. No, I was thinking if I could do some sort of, I don't know, do some sort of, like announcement, special deal, or just something random for maybe the 2 people on the internet who follow me and will,
I think you
Be
should make a
excited.
video of you smoking a cigar, wearing sunglasses, walking around with a pistol, and just shooting at things while going, ah, ha, 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 ha.
That does sound like fun. And much less TE than and beautifully without TE. I think that's what I love the most about it.
Well, because it'll count as giving a little extra something. It's like, hey, fans, I checking out my stuff. Here's this. Here's me being creative and kooky. And they'll be like, oh my god, I love it when you do this fan service stuff. And you'll be like, did I put any planning into this? No, I did not. Yeah, I kind of feel like my sort of vision in life is fairly without TE. It's like I want to fully manifest my weirdness, and I want people to love me for it and pay me for it.
Yeah. You're like, I'm really interesting. I'm sure of that. People like interesting.
I am for certain now. I used to be in doubt.
It's like I'm definitely interesting and I'm good at it. So people should definitely that should get me money.
Yeah, I want my ultimate fuck you to TE to be being successful while planless.
Yeah. It'd be nice. Although personally, I've decided that I see. It seems that some TE is required to get to the state of not requiring as much TE.
Right. That's why you focus. It's the philosophy of the plan of planlessness. Planning around planning so that you don't have to plan.
Right, or at least minimizing planning. You're like, I have this plan so that I don't have to. I did plan this so that I don't have to plan other things or something. Or at least I have to be on less of a plan. I remember there's this cartoon I saw on Pinterest or somewhere one time, and it was Batman cartoon. It's like Batman has a plan for everything. Somebody's asking, was like, so what's your plan for when you don't have a plan? He has like this notebook and it has this picture, and it goes the plan for when you don't have a plan, and it just says, I'm Batman. I was like, that's literally my plan. Like, I love that so much. Like,
Yep.
You can't have a plan for everything if your plan is, I'm Batman.
Indeed.
Or it was like, I'm Batman, punch stuff or something. It was funny.
You're looking inside the brain of a bad man. Here presenting Cuckofficer.
So there's this weird thing. You're like, I like Batman. It's like Batman and the Joker, and you're like confused.
It looks like he's
It's like
inside.
Joker on the inside, Batman on the outside.
I'm going to use this phrase for what Cugs has got going on there. It looks like he is inside the teeth of a stone-addled grapefruit.
Not sympathizing, Susan, but totally understanding that you're probably right.
I guess she says that feckin' ENTP fucking So fucking Joey gets home.
I really like what Kugs is doing, yeah, though. Yeah, I'm just finding it amusing. It's like, is that like, oh, is that what it seems like to other people sometimes?
Yeah, that's kinda like at least part of the reason why I like the idea of ESTPs more than ENTPs in terms of romantic interest, just because I feel like if there was an ENTP, eventually after enough time passed, we'd both be telling each other, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to talk. Sometimes you get impatient and you don't want to take turns.
I think it would depend. I feel like an ENTP is more okay with talking at the same time than an ESTP. ESTP is like, no, shut up. No, seriously. And an ENTP forgot that you were talking.
With the ESTP, I'd probably just be like, you can decide two things. You can either decide definitively here and now that you don't like me and you want nothing to do with me, or eat shit.
Elsie talks way too much. One big old gas bag. I feel like, it's that I know theoretically that you can talk too much and that people will eventually in their heads be wanting to murder you. But in the moment when you're actually talking too much, none of that is either present or relevant.
And that's how I fucking feel.
See, Suze, you really need to lure him in here so he can come and rant himself out with internet people. I'm just saying you shouldn't give up. I have faith that you're capable of it.
Earplugs are probably cheaper than copious martini.
Listening to us is less annoying. Wow. That's a compliment. That's serious.
I mean, fuck. I feel like my conversations half the time are one-sided. I'm just talking, and then I'm like, "Oh, it's FE time," and I'm like, "But what do you think?" Like,
I do that. I definitely have one-sided conversations, especially when I'm like had whatever something in the day that. Yes, some days you're just like, okay, I must rant now for like 6 hours.
People keep letting me talk. That's the thing. Is it's like, especially in the earlier days of TWFP, I kept asking people, "Are you sure it's okay that I talk about this? Like, you're okay with this?" And they're like, "Yes, Ken, keep talking." I used to ask to the point to where they would get annoyed. They're like, "No, just quit asking." I'm like, "Just remember, you people brought this on yourselves."
I tell people something like that in real life because they'll be like, "You're so quiet." Like, you should
Like,
talk
well,
more. They're like, "It's okay, we don't buy it." I'm like, and I literally just tell them, I'm like, you guys, like, don't get me started. Or sometimes I'll literally go, I'm like, "Are you sure? You want me to? You're asking for it. This is your one chance to, back out."
It's like I'm giving you a courtesy by not just, just going and talking, because there's certainly times where I'll be so focused on what I'm talking about that I'm conversationally non-consensual. I am. Despite the potentially negative social connotation, I'm still going to go with the phrase that I am sometimes conceptually rapey.
I'm just thinking as I was relating back, so I was like, I'm thinking of my dad, and my mom always used to make fun of him because when he got a hands-free phone in his vehicle like 15 years ago, it was like he would just drive around and just as soon as he got in the vehicle, he'd call somebody to talk to, or he would like be talking to somebody and he would just like sit in the driveway back at the house for like 2 hours because he was still talking to somebody. And at the time, I remember my mom calling it out and being kind of like, "Why does he do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, like it makes perfect sense."
Yeah.
I like it when I do that. I imagine like weird behaviors that I'm like, "Oh, I've never tied that back to things. Like that makes sense." And then I do something like that. Like you guys probably give some of my phone call people a break. Not that there's many. Most of because I basically usually used to just call my mom at the end of the day and just like talk. And then every now and then someone would be like, "Are you still there?"
It's one of the benefits of having the introverts around here. Is it's like I got an audience. Like, and this is what I think about this, and this is what I think about that, and it's just like,
That's good.
like, "You're so extroverted," and then I get to stroke my ego a bit more. And then,
I just never realized I was doing it. I was like, "Oh."
yeah, fucking Pepsi is like the Facebook equivalent to how I am verbally here. It's like I'll just keep talking, and then on Facebook, Pepsi's like every 30 minutes, just like shit posts.
Yeah.
Some new meme. Just like every 30 minutes, what the fuck am INFP now? What the fuck I'm ESTP now? What the fuck I'm ENTP now?
Let's read Belsey's post on INTP. I think that the theory is that eventually an ENTP will at least temporarily annoy anything.
I don't know how I did it, but one time I annoyed a water spigot. I was outside pumping water, and it said, "Fuck off, you." You think you're the same type as Ken? What, Asperger's? I mean, it's entirely possible, Pepsi, that me and you are fucked up in a similar way. No, silly goose. I'm sure that if I got tested, I'd come back with something, just with the way diagnoses are these days.
Oh, you mean yeah.
They'd pick me. My guess is 2 or 3 things. They'd be like, you have more than a couple problems. And I'd be like, this I know.
Yeah. I've read enough psychiatric, diagnosis books and theories and stuff. You're like, this is stupid, but I have all of these things.
See, rather than autistic, I prefer to call myself socially capitalizing. Whose screen is this? Oh, autism spectrum.
Apparently, I'm autistic as
Who
fuck
liked
or
the room?
something. What? Can you hear me?
Don't do that. Well, there you go.
Where what go?
Social interaction.
Organization and routine.
Yeah, I have no idea. It was just interesting.
Existential cry of despair. You ever heard of a Dave Shirkley? No. Or is it Shirkley? Actually, I don't remember. David.
Okay, you guys want to see what I've been working on all day?
Yes.
That update?
Yeah. So this is the main screen at the moment.
Ah, yes. It appears to be a cellular device.
Yes. And here's the target selection screen. Cycle through targets. It's not functional right now, but
So it's like a shooting app?
yeah. So like you can
Is
pick
your phone
those.
bulletproof?
You don't shoot the app, but you,
Oh.
unless you're really, really mad at it. Might happen. This is where you like set you set the geometric factors for the target. You can set size and type of target, how far the target is away from you, if there's a slope angle from your shooting position to the target. You can set that.
Sorry,
So then you can add a bunch of targets. So like this would be an array of 7 targets or whatever. Different ranges. Gives you a little short, quick idea of the hold. So the red dot is where you would actually be holding relative to the target based on whatever the ballistic calculations were.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to do like the design. It doesn't. Part of the design is that you can either click this to add a target and then set it manually. Theoretically, you'll be able to click like on a range. You're like, I want to add a target right there, and it'll automatically populate that other screen with like 510 yards or whatever, and then you can adjust it slightly if you need to.
Okay.
It's cool. And then for more detailed purposes, like once it's done its calculations, if you've saved them all, you can see this view for all the targets. And you'll be able to put whatever scope reticle you like are using on there, and it'll show you your aiming point visually. And you can zoom in and out on your scope magnification, and it'll change your view appropriately. And then I'll give you some text versions of what your hold should be for in case that's a better way for you to kind of cognitively figure that out. Because some people are going to be better at just like taking the visual, and some people are better going to be at, cognitively at just remembering these sorts of phrases.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I remember it was like too high and slightly left. Okay. But I think that's all the screens I have right now. There's more to it, but there's another view of the add target for different types of targets. Because like those special targets, they don't change. But like if you've just got generic targets like circular, you can change colors of the target, change the size of the target.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you care a lot.
Well, I mean,
What do you think about just the general
here,
aesthetics?
Audra, have some
sweet.
FE. Would you like another slice of FE? Here you go, Audra.
I don't really care if you care. I just kind of want to know if it looks decent.
I mean, I definitely appreciate that you're using more than just one form of information to convey, like what they need to do. Like rather than just having numbers written down, like you're having phrases as well as visual representation. That I very much appreciate.
Yeah, that's a big deal behind this design is that, and yeah, it's like the sort of stuff I've been studying is very much about that's like trying to try to make things more cognitively palatable in an interface.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just like, well, here's the information, it's true. Because a lot of times it's more focused on the calculations and things, and backside they go, well, this information is correct, here it is, do with it what you will. But we're trying to make it easier for kind of bridge the cognitive gap. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool.
I have to go to work. Remember me.
I'm about to leave work.
Okay.
Hey! Dayman. Whoa, fighter of the night man. Whoa, champion of the sun. Alright, I leave you now.
Just in mind, huh? Just in mind is like Excel. Is there better software? I don't know if there's better software or not. I just procrastinated the first version of wireframing / prototyping till like 2 a.m. the morning it was due, and I Googled something about prototyping software, and I went, that one looks nice, and so I started playing with it, and I dug it, so I've been using it. What do I have to make? So I'm doing an HCI course, Human Computer Interaction, and so I'm just more or less designing interfaces. Out at this stage, I'm designing the interface outside of implementation, so any sort of quick prototyper is nice. And I like to just in mind because you could throw in some basic, like events and make it kind of an interactive prototype really easy. And you can, I had the pro version for free for a month, and you could simulate it on your phone, and it's cool stuff like that. But the point of the app is a ballistics calculation app to be used in like competition. Oh, just in mind, or what are we talking about? Oh, yeah. No, the app worked really cool. Like I had to do a round of, I had to design and do a little mini qualitative evaluation phase, and so I basically had some people, and I loaded it up on my phone or their phone or whoever's, and handed it to them and said, here, you know, if you were trying to do X, what would you do? You know, and kind of got their input on what they could do. It was pretty cool to be able to do it that way. And it's really nice because, you know, a lot of design goes into like geometrics, like, okay, if you're going to be holding it in your right hand, you want the stuff that you're going to tap more within easy range of your thumb or whatever. And that's a lot easier to do if you've actually got it on your phone. You're like, oh yeah, that's easy to reach. That seems to make. Do I know how to make a video without linking from YouTube? What? I haven't made a video, so I don't know. I've literally used it twice. I'm not kidding. I downloaded it like 2 a.m. in the morning when I may have started at like midnight that night. I may have been started early. And I downloaded it, and then I prototyped a bunch of stuff, and I spent about 2 hours on it. I'm like, all right, now I'm done. And I wrote a paper, and then I went to bed. Yeah, well, this is iteration 2. I'll show you iteration 1. There's a view of the screens I prototyped the first time. So the array screen and the target focus screen conceptually haven't changed much. And I kind of hated the colors. I just randomly picked colors, and other people kind of hated the colors too. So I went to a more a slicker color scheme for round 2. And then I decided to try to do away with as much numpad entry as possible, doing more sliders and spinners and things. And then I did my core design. I decided to separate the factor entry into geometric factors per target, which are relevant for each target, and then I'm going to separate out environmental factors or weather factors, which can change from moment to moment, but are going to generally affect all your targets. So you don't want to enter them in on each target, because that would be bad, because you might want to change it later, because you might store the targets the day before and the weather's different. So you want to be able to adjust the weather separately. And then like location factors, which are going to be changed more or less per match, because, you know, if you set the elevation of the, you know, location that you're in, that's not going to change until you move to an entirely different location. So that was a big change in my design from the first iteration. But anyway, I'm rambling. CS, yeah, it's a CS, like I said, human computer interaction is what the course is called. I mean, compared to other like kind of wireframing tools I've used, Just in Mind is really sweet. Especially for something that I can use for free. So I've used like draw.io and some different things, and yeah, I wouldn't use it for graphic design really. I mean, for websites, I use either Muse or Dreamweaver mostly. Well, at least you know. Sometimes it's good to have a choice. Have you used like any of the Adobe stuff for that sort of thing? Oh, database diagrams. One time I had a really good program for doing that. I downloaded for a class. I don't remember what it was. Most of the ones people use are really bad. No, I really don't remember. Like, it was probably 4 years ago the last time I made a real database diagram. I've done a couple of small like UML diagrams in the last couple of years, and I just used draw.io because it was so easy to share because I was doing like group projects and stuff. I do use draw.io a lot. Little quick stuff. I don't think so. Heard of it. Is that a prototyping software or what? Oh, it's that cloud thing. Yeah. No, I haven't messed with it much. Building web apps is something that I haven't quite. I've done a lot of stuff kind of offline, but I haven't done a whole lot of. It's on my list of things to get better at. I need to learn. I decided I need to learn like whatever the one is that goes with Python. I can't think of what it's called right now. Learn to do stuff with like MVC architecture and that sort of thing. Oh. Well, I don't know if that will be fun or not, but have fun anyway. Do you know some languages already or not? If you can do SQL, you can do whatever, because I hate SQL. And HTML is straightforward enough. CSS is pretty slick. I haven't done PHP. You'll be fine. actually do have to scram. They're gonna turn out the lights on me if I don't get out of here.